Whip, with all due respect to him, this shouldn't happen again. If you want to invoke the rules, please do so properly. Do not interrupt the proceedings in such a disorderly manner. You have failed to invoke the rules properly. This is a committee proceedings that is ongoing. You have not established the number of committee members sitting around the table for which will warrant your interruption in such a manner. With all due respect, let me offer some education. This committee is constituted pursuant to Order 217, Rules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In accordance with Rule 217.2, there are standing members of the committee pursuant to 217.1. There are 11 standing members. Under 217.2, subject matter committee leadership are statutorily mandated to be represented on the committee where subject matter minister nominees appear. As we speak, your side has provided 2 names as subject matter leadership committee. The majority side has also provided 2 subject matter honorable names to satisfy the requirement under that provision. Now, if you add these 4 members to the standing members of 11, that is 15. Now, you have not established that as we proceed, a quorum of 15 will give you at least 5. You have not established that even the membership supplied.
Understanding Order 2177.
Yes.
Read Order 2177. I'm a member of this committee.
Please. I haven't called you yet. Please.
But you didn't call him and he's also distracted. So if he's misleading the House, he should read Order 2177. And no, then he should withdraw the fact that I'm not a member of this committee. Because if you read Order 2177,
Chairman,
it states that a member of the leadership of the House is entitled to participate. I'm a leader of the House.
Chairman,
I am entitled to. So I am a member of the committee. So don't say I am not.
Please switch off. Please. Let's try and do this orderly. Please, let's have some order.
Establish that you have quorum. Establish it. The ranking member, the vice ranking, the minority whip, the one person we appointed who is in the person of Honorable Patrick Buama, none of them is here. On your side, the chairman is not here. The vice chair who you are presiding now, they are not also here. Establish that you have quorum before you continue.
All right, can you...
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Roxon, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
Please, let's
Chairman.
Can you come in?
Chairman,
you come in?
With all due respect to the Honorable Habib, with all due respect to him, my point is that he's not a statutory member. He's also a member in pursuance of 2177. So if you just walk in, you have not even sat down for more than 2 minutes, and then you jumped in. Now, I have established that this committee is properly constituted for its work. In any case, we are not speaking of a commencement quorum. There's a difference between a commencement quorum and a decision-making quorum. You have not demonstrated the distinction. Please, Chairman, with all due respect, this is very serious business of state. So the leader should comport himself. That is withdrawn.
Please withdraw.
Now you just jumped in to raise an issue of quorum, and I'm saying this is the 3rd nominee that we are listening to, we are interrogating. The point where you could raise a commencement quorum is long past in the morning. We are in progress, we are in flight. When it comes to a decision making, then you could decide, you could raise the issue of quorum that we are about to take a decision as a committee. We are not properly constituted. Now, may I, hold on. May I refer you to Article 102 of the Constitution and 104 of the Constitution? And in reading that, marry it with the decision of the Supreme Court in Abdullah versus Attorney General, that the rules of Parliament are applicable mutatis mutandis to the procedure before a committee's work, and that where the committee has begun proceedings, quorum was established, and the proceedings is ongoing. So you cannot raise the issue of commencement. Now, let me establish this point. Chairman, let me establish this point. Order 2171, the Appointments Committee comprises the first Deputy Speaker as chairperson, Minority Leader as ranking member, the Deputy Majority Leader as vice chairperson, the Deputy Minority Leader as deputy ranking member, and the following other members: A, the Majority Chief Whip; B, Minority Chief Whip; C, 5 other members selected based on the numerical strength of the parties in Parliament. So based on 2171, A, B, and C, the standing membership of this committee is 11. Now, based on 2172, the chairperson and ranking member and 2 other members of the relevant subject matter standing or select committee shall join the members of the Appointments Committee to consider persons nominated by the President for appointment as all that. Now, Chairman, with all due respect to the first Deputy Minority Chief Whip, his membership is provided under 2177. And it says, a member of the leadership of the House is entitled to participate in the proceedings of the committee during the consideration of nominees for appointment. So the issue of quorum, and quorum, Mr. Chairman, to invoke Order 64. Let me refer the House to Order 64. This agenda to disrupt these proceedings, it won't work. So let me address, Chairman, let me address this matter and we make progress. Now, quorum in Parliament. Quorum in Parliament. Chairman, Order 64.1. A quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all the members of Parliament. Now, where the person presiding is a deputy speaker or a member, that person shall be counted as part of the quorum. Now, I agree that the orders will apply to the work of the committee. Without establishing the number around the table, you just said that we don't have a quorum. Meanwhile, as we speak, the standing membership of the committee is 11. And we have myself, we have the vice chairperson, we have the Honorable Ajia represented, we have the Honorable Rita Odole represented, we have the Honorable Mahama Shaibu represented, and we have Honorable Uma. He has just stepped out. We have just stepped out. So this attitude, Chairman, with all due respect, Chairman, let me conclude by saying, let me conclude. Chairman, the honorable member is completely out of order. He's completely out of order. We must make progress with our nominee. I so submit. I thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
Okay, Honorable Abu Jinapo, please, let's do this orderly.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if you allow me, let me congratulate the nominee and to say that I sympathize with him. That he's caught up in this litigation. But indeed, it's his chief whip. It's his chief whip who is. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I want to submit that the application and procedure invoked by the first deputy minority chief whip. The first deputy minority chief whip is properly grounded, is properly construed, and is properly laid before you, the chairman of this committee. Let me establish two preliminary points. The first one is that the majority, Mr. Chairman, the first one is that the majority, the learned majority chief whip, who is a senior lawyer, whom I respect a lot, himself makes the point that at the commencement of the proceedings of a committee, one can raise the issue of quorum. In the same vein, he makes a strenuous effort to establish the fact that this committee is properly constituted and this committee has quorum. And he goes ahead to try and even name members of the committee to establish that there is quorum. Meanwhile, he has said that, Mr. Chairman, he has said that you can only raise the issue of quorum at the beginning or the commencement of the proceedings of the committee. That's the first point, the first preliminary point. The second preliminary point, Mr. Chairman, the second preliminary point, wait. The second, Mr. Chairman, the country, Chief Whip, Mr. Chairman, the country is listening to us. The majority Chief Whip has made a very comprehensive legal submission. Members on this side, the minority, we are making our submission. I think we owe it to the nominee, we owe it to the country to get to the bottom of this matter in an orderly manner, based on the rules of the House. Mr. Chairman, the second point I make is that what the deputy minority chief whip sought to do was to raise an application pursuant to order system for the standing orders of Parliament to the chairman of the committee. And Mr. Chairman, when that application is laid, it is only and only when the application is laid before the chairman will the chairman go through the processes and the proceedings pursuant to order system 4 or standing order to make a determination whether or not this committee, this appointments committee of Parliament, is properly constituted and that it has quorum. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I want to quote Order 64. And I quote. Order 64 says,
Mr. Chairman,
a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all the members of Parliament.
Mr. Chairman, a point
2,
of order, please.
where the person presiding is a deputy speaker or a member, part of the quorum.
Please.
3, a member may draw that the person presiding at any time during a sitting that members. Mr. Chairman, can I be listening in silence? We are live on national television. I mean, can we please now look? No, can we? And so, Mr. Chairman,
Honorable, please. Honorable.
Member,
He is not. Can you put that thing off? Please. Yeah. Okay. All right. Honorable member, I believe you are done.
Mr. Chairman, now let's take a few more minutes.
Yeah.
1 or 2 more points.
Relax.
And so, Mr. Chairman, what is the point I seek to make? Mr. Chairman, the submission I make is that pursuant to Order 64, of our rule, when a member makes an application to the chairman, and indeed, the majority chief whip himself, and I will always refer to him as the learned majority chief whip, has submitted that the rules of the parliament as a plenary, the parliament as a whole, is applicable to the proceedings of a committee of parliament. And therefore, Order 64 is applicable to this appointments committee. And so what is my conclusion and what is my contention? And of course, Article 102 and Article 101 buttresses this point. Mr. Chairman, and so I'm contending that when the Deputy First Minority Chief Whip made the application to you, the correct and proper procedure pursuant to Order 64, which is Order 64 applicable to the House of Parliament, and which the Majority Chief Whip himself has submitted, applies to the committee of the House, and therefore the committee, the appointments committee. Mr. Chairman, I conclude by saying that you then would have gone through the processes of establishing whether or not this committee is properly constituted and has quorum to conduct business. Mr. Chairman, as we speak, the NDC members of this committee have now all run into the committee. They ran here. They rushed here. So, Mr. Chairman, on that basis, let me conclude by saying that the first Deputy Minority Chief Whip has withdrawn his application. It was properly grounded, and therefore let us proceed.
Thank you very much. I have, please. Well, we have the commencement quorum, so we'll continue the meeting, and then you are overruled, actually. Can we continue? Yeah, you on the floor. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Before you go on, just to bring to your attention, I was given this piece of paper before we started, and Honorable Abu Jinapo is a subject matter person on this forum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I was on my second question to the nominee, and that's my second. I hope, okay, so my question was that cyber security has been a national concern, and I was indicating that the country has experienced some couple of cyber attacks. And then when you consider the cost of establishing cyber security in institutions, it is on a very high side. You look at the NDC manifesto, you talked about enhancing support to cyber security establishment and initiatives. I want to know, as from the nominee, what is he going to do as a minister to fund cyber security initiatives to ensure that the existing networks are adequately protected? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The cybersecurity of our country is a critical one that sits and straddles the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technologies and Innovation, and our national security apparatus. In fact, when you read the National Strategy document that was prepared in 2020, I believe that paragraph 3.4 on page 41 speaks about our cybersecurity preparedness as a nation. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, in 2020, we passed Act 1038, which is the Cybersecurity Act. As a member of the committee at the time, I played a key role in the formulation of that legislation. And when you speak about funding cybersecurity, I'm sure that the outgoing minister will be, and the members of the committee, that when the bill came to Parliament from Cabinet, it did not have anything about funding cybersecurity. It was my personal intervention and amendments to the bill that introduced Section 23 of the bill, which is the funds of the bill. I would say that it is sheer providence that 4 years after the bill came into law, the outgone government was unable to operationalize the fund. And I, who brought it into the bill, today sits here as a nominee of the president to superintend this bill. I give you the assurance that the brain and thinking behind me introducing funding for the bill, and if you read it, I identify a number of sources to fund cybersecurity. One of them is grants from the government. Another is allocations from government or grants from individual donor agencies like the MasterCard Foundation. Another one is actually the establishment of the Cyber Fund, which will be a dedicated fund for beneficiaries of cybersecurity. So I think I should share providence that when approved by this House, and I assume office as Minister for Communications, the thoughts that came through my mind in September 2020, when I introduced this as an amendment, will see the light of day under President John Dramani Mahama. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My last point has to do with the fintech space. It has to do with this fintech space. So you realize that a lot of Ghanaian enterprises or young Ghanaians have built capacity within the fintech industry. Yet when you look at support from donor enterprises like the World Bank, most of their support in these areas are for Ghanaians to buy software, or they buy softwares for Ghanaian companies, which limits the development of our fintech industries. Now, there's also a call from your NDC and during your manifesto that you were going to establish a $50 million fund to support the fintech industry. My question is, how are you going to protect the young Ghanaians who have built up their capacity in this fintech space? How are we going to make sure that they get the needed support and leverage to build their capacities and growth? And also, how is this fund going to be disbursed? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as subcommittee chairman for the NDC's Manifesto Committee on Digital Economy and ICT, we put in place that policy plank with the approval of His Excellency John Mahama to set up a 50 million fintech fund. The 50 million fintech fund, that 50 million is supposed to be a seed funding that we're going to use to attract funds from other multilateral and bilateral donor agencies. Our target is to build a $300 million fund. That's not going to be disbursed like confetti, but that's going to be used as seed funding to attract major funding from venture capitalists and angel investors. Another thing we're going to be doing to support the fintech industry in Ghana is the setting up of business advisory support and regulatory sandboxes to ensure that our young startups survive. In fact, the statistics show that most startups die before their 5th anniversary, and that's because most of these startups are started by young innovators who don't have all it takes to run a business. It's one thing being an innovator, it's a completely different business running and managing a business enterprise. And so that's where this fund is going to come in to offer them the business advisory support, to give them what it takes to run a business profitably, whilst the innovative juices of young Ghanaians, the creative minds that God has blessed this country with, continue to explode. But one last thing we're going to do for the fintechs is that we're going to redefine the entire regulatory framework. As we sit today, the President has issued an executive instrument that redesignates the Ministry of Communications to the Ministry for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation. Fintechs are digital technology. It's because of them. They are at the heart of President Mahama's government, because he wants to have a truly financially inclusive government by the time he's leaving office in 2028. And so we're going to set up an independent subsidiary of the Bank of Ghana, along the lines of the FCA in the UK, and along the lines of GIPS. 100% owned by the Bank of Ghana, but that's going to be agile in its regulatory framework and allow for innovation, things like agri-tech, edu-tech, insurance technology in the fintech space to take off. So this is the golden era for fintechs under the next 4 years. And order 217 and subject matter committee members is 2 from each side.
So if you want me to... Honorable Abednego, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Senior. Your appointment won't surprise anybody because you have proven to be very, very astute in the communications industry. I wasn't here in the 7th Parliament, but I followed your exploits when you played a leading role in getting the cybersecurity law passed in 2020, Act 1038. There was a question on that, but let me pick your thoughts also on the same subject matter. There is two schools of thought. One believes that the Cybersecurity Authority should be under the remit of the national security. Others, they made the argument that it has to do with cross-border, talking about jurisdictional issues. Those who are in favor that it should remain with the ministry make the argument that it is an IT-related, and therefore have been with it from its inception. What is your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In my earlier response, I made reference to the National Security Strategy document of 2020 that recognizes cybersecurity as a key tool. I agree that there's the school of thought that thinks that cybersecurity should not sit, especially the Cybersecurity Authority, should not sit under the Ministry of Communications, but rather under the National Security Ministry. There is some merit to that, but I think when you look at it holistically, you realize that that will not be the best architecture. When you look at best case situations across the world, like in India, like in Singapore and in Rwanda, you realize that you keep your Cybersecurity Authority under your Ministry for Communications or your ICT Ministry, because cybersecurity plays 5 cardinal roles, or has 5 interfaces. There's the public interface, deals with the citizens. Then there is the international interface, engagements with multilateral and bilateral stakeholders. You've got the interface as well, where you talk about the cybersecurity professionals in the sector. You've got the policy formulation, which is largely what the ministry will lead. And then you've got the security and intelligence interface. So of 5 interfaces, 4 of them are civilian, and 1 is security. If you move it under your National Security Ministry, it becomes difficult for you to have the full benefit of the 4 other interfaces, be it policy, be it industry, be it international or public interfaces. What we need to do is to have collaborations between the communications, digital technology, and innovation, and our national security outfits to ensure that the synergies are built between both institutions. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, thank you. We will not have further questions because Minister designates your competence and capabilities is unquestioned. Congratulations once again.
Any further question? I then move to give the floor to Honorable Abu Jinapo. Honorable former Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me congratulate Honorable Sam George for his appointment as the Minister for Communication. And I do so very congratulations, Minister. Mr. Nominee, I believe you will be following the unfolding matter of intense interest to the world, which is a matter I refer to the Chinese AI app company DeepSeek, which is caused a major upset in Silicon Valley industry, which is resulted even in tech company, AI company giants such as NVIDIA, losing 600 billion United States dollars of stock. This area is a major area, artificial intelligence, and how other countries are leveraging on them to bring about progress and development. If you are recommended by this committee to Parliament and the Parliament were to approve you and you become the Minister for Communications, what plans or what is your thinking on how Ghana itself can tap into or can plug into this artificial intelligence industry to bring about developed country? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I mean, I saw that said AI unifies like Bitcoin in 2013. Jump on the bandwagon now or you get left out. President Mahama has a clear vision on his AI policy. We're going to take the current AI strategy that was developed by the previous government, review it, make it fit for purpose by engaging industry and ensuring that Ghana becomes the hub for artificial intelligence on the African continent. We're going to do this by making sure that our innovation hubs, as promised in our manifesto, are executed, and then we will introduce AI that we are taking. Ghana will become the center hub for artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, data analytics, and data processing on the continent in the next 4 years. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question has been asked already, matter which I believe the nominee will want to shed some more light on. Cybersecurity is a major area in the security framework of the world. I mean, it's probably, arguably, one of the most important areas of security concerns across the world, cybersecurity. Now, you've spoken to it, but there is obviously the big debate out there as to where the effort to clamp down on cybersecurity should be properly situated. Some of the pundits
security and overseeing the police, the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana Police Service does some work relative to cybersecurity. We've not moved the police from Ministry of Interior and the Security. You've got defense intelligence under the Ministry of Defense. We haven't moved them under national security. You've got the research department under foreign affairs. You've not moved them under national security. Cybersecurity has a home under communications, and it will remain there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in the run-up to 2020-24 elections, the honorable nominee, on several occasions, and I have various articles to that effect, dates and occasions, voted on the 5th of December at the NDC's final rally. And I quote, Mr. Chairman, the nominee said, vote for candidate Mahama to sign the anti-LGBTQ bill, end quote. Mr. Chairman, by way of background, we are all very familiar with the interest, this, and rightly so, the interest the anti-LGBTQ bill generated in our country, so much that it traveled all the way to the Supreme Court. And the honorable nominee was very categorical that if you voted for President Mahama, the bill will be signed. So my question to the nominee, Ghanaian people, on behalf of his party, the National Democratic Congress, and his candidate, President Mahama, when will the bill be signed? When will the bill be signed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know that this question, because you were chairman of Constitutional, Legal, and Parliamentary Affairs, you know my passion about this. His Excellency President Mahama spoke immediately after his swearing in when he met with the Catholic Bishops' Conference. I wish to quote what he said, parts of what he said, with your permission. So the convention is that all bills that are not assented to before the So that bill, effectively, is dead. It has expired. I don't know what the promoters of the bill intend to do, but I do think that we should have a conversation on it again. I repeat that again for emphasis. President Mahama said, I do think that we should have a conversation on it again, so that all of us, if we decide to move that bill forward, move it forward with a consensus. My position is that that bill is a critical part of our national life. Ghanaian family values, our children's innocence, must be protected. In this 9th Parliament, that bill will be reintroduced, either as a private member's bill or as government's bill. I will work with government if it's government's bill. If it's not and it's my bill, I will bring it back again, because my chiefs seated here, the chiefs from Ningo and Pram, supported me in bringing that bill in the 8th Parliament. They've asked me to reintroduce it in the 9th Parliament. I will do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of follow-up questions. I have a couple of follow-up. I didn't ask follow-up questions in the first two questions.
No, you are entitled to a follow-up question on a substantive question. So once you don't exercise the right to ask a follow-up question after asking the first question, the second question, you can have
so I can't
follow-up. You are now entitled to one follow-up on the LGBTQ.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, the nominee is also on record to have said, and I quote, the Chief Justice is helping Akufo-Addo to support LGBTQ, end quote. I want to repeat. The nominee is on record to have said, the Chief Justice is helping Akufo-Addo to support LGBTQ. Mr. Chairman, we are all very much aware of how strong a Christian the Chief Justice is. And indeed, the nominee came to this conclusion because the nominee came to this conclusion because, in his view, he was indicting action on the anti-LGBTQ case in the Supreme Court. Eventually, Mr. Chairman, the matter was determined, and indeed, the Supreme Court determined the matter in favor of the plaintiffs, that the bill be transmitted to the President for his assent. And therefore, my follow-up question is, will the nominee, in the light of what has happened, and will the nominee, given that the basis for his conclusion is obviously been proven wrong, will he apologize to the Chief Justice here? And further so, will he agree with me that at the time he promised that President Mahama will sign the anti-LGBTQ if voted into office, the nominee, as a very intelligent, experienced legislator, knew very well that on the dissolution of the 8th Parliament, that bill will no longer stand, and that bill will also pass with the dissolution of the 8th Parliament, and there would therefore not be any bill for President Mahama to assent to. Will he agree that there was some element of dishonesty in making that commitment to the Ghanaian people? Will he apologize to the Chief Justice, and will he agree that he knew very well that the bill will not be available for President Mahama to sign onto if voted into office?
Thank you very much, but there is a bit of correction of the question that I will have to clarify, honorable members. The action was taken by the plaintiff, and if the plaintiff's action is dismissed, the decision of the court cannot be in favor of the plaintiff. So the plaintiff's action clearly was dismissed. The plaintiff action was to the effect that the bill must not be transmitted, and the court's decision is that the bill must be transmitted. So, but you said in your question that the decision of the Supreme Court was in favor of the plaintiff. Very well. Having considered, may you go ahead to answer the question.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for that clarity, because I was going to make that clarity. Mr. Chairman states that I'm an elder of a church, and as an elder of the church, my integrity and honesty are key principles that I hold dear. My opinions about the actions and inactions of the Chief Justice remain. They are unchanged, and they have been vindicated by the actions of the Chief Justice post my demonstration against her. She could have taken action earlier. She held her own horses. My opinion of the Chief Justice remains my opinion today. It doesn't change.
Thank you very much. I then proceed to give the Honorable Lady Akam Variba.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Actually, I don't have a question to ask my APT ranking. I only want to conclude. Your appointment is no surprise to me, because I know that you can even do much better than the position they have given you. I have been with you in the committee from day one. We all went together to APNIC, African Parliamentarian Network on Internet Governance. I'm a member of that particular organization. It is because of the nominee that I can proudly say that I'm the treasurer of West African Parliamentarian Network on Internet Governance. I know some will ask, he's your junior brother, but how come? He has the experience. No, experience is not about age. Experience is not about
Honorable Lydia, if you don't have questions, let's make progress. Let's make progress.
I want to use the opportunity to thank the President very much for appointing you, and I wish you the best of luck in that committee and in that ministry. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I then recognize Honorable Hajia Ladi Ayamba.
Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. Congratulations. As for this, congratulations, it's worth it more than 1 million times. But we have to just do it for the fact that we are supposed to do it. You have worked, you deserve it, and you are there. What we can think about is that the Almighty Allah bless you so that you will be able to work and work harder. The LGBTQ plus with all the pluses under the sun, which you spoke, worked, and did everything about. My concern is about issues of what was being put inside our books, that is in the schools, for people to learn. And I'm using peoples because this is as far as the basic schools. Will you consider using your expertise as a communicator to continue to advocate and to work hand in hand with the Minister for the Minister for Education to ensure that our books are properly looked into so that we don't buy the minds of our children when they are so innocent? Will you consider that? After answering that question, I say thanks to the Almighty Allah for putting you in that position, and may He guide and protect you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. Again, just be brief.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I would put everything in my bin to protect the innocence of Ghanaian children. And we would instruct our Cybersecurity Authority and our Child Online Protection Program to collaborate with the Ministry of Education to ensure that our children are protected from anti-Ghanaian values in any e-learning book or model that will be introduced into our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I recognize Charles Oredu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please, you operate within the terms agreed upon.
Mr. Chairman, congratulations, Honorable Samuel Nartey George. Honorable, do you have a Ghana card with you? Do you have a Ghana card?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. So do you have it with you now?
No, not on my person.
Okay. So why would you say that using the Ghana card as the primary source for the SIM registration was flawed, and that you would want to subject the good people of Ghana to another re-registration of the SIM card?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Common sense is the reason why I'll say that. Because the actions that happened under the last government are very at par with common sense and logic. We've got a National Identification Authority that holds and sits as our national repository of biometric data. I think it was wickedness of the highest order to subject Ghanaians to long hours of queues, taking away productive man hours affecting our economy, to go and queue again and resubmit biometrics, simply because egos could not be managed. We will do a proper SIM re-registration again, but this time, nobody's going to queue, because common sense will prevail, expertise will prevail, and logic will work. The MNOs hold a certain set of data. We would use technology to cross-reference that against the NIA's database and all biometric databases, and only instances where there are disparities would require you visiting an MNO shop. Because today, as we speak, the telcos cannot truly verify who is holding their SIM card. And even it's in their own benefit for us to do this process and do it properly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will proceed to recognize.
I have a follow-up.
Please be fast.
Honorable nominee, as a follow-up to the question, to the first question.
Okay. Hold on. Before the second question, Honorable Nominee, we played with you. We know issues associated with the use of common sense. So I will consequentially direct that the aspect of the common sense be deleted from your answer to the question. Thank you very much. Please proceed to ask your second question. How can he withdraw what I have directed to be expunged from the record? I have given a direction that same be expunged from the record, so it's no longer available for him to withdraw. Please proceed to ask your next question.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your ruling on this matter. As a follow-up to the earlier question for the re-registration that you've planned to undertake, is it going to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer for the re-registration that you just spoke about?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Unlike under the immediate past government where people had to pay to use an app, no Ghanaian will have to pay for this. The cost will be borne by the MNOs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any follow-up or the last question? Please go ahead.
Mr. Nominee, I hope you are aware that under the supervision of the former Minister for Communications, Ghana launched the 5G network. I think that the whole of Africa, probably apart from South Africa and then one or two other countries, Ghana ranked really high in the launch of this 5G. You were on record to have said that you plan to roll 5G network that will MPP commercially if NDC should win the elections. Now, you are the minister. NDC is in power. You plan to commercially roll this out. Goal of, say, Akrofonso, the good people of Impintimpi, the good people of Adadekrom, who are complaining that even after the launch of the 3G network, they were not even having a good connectivity. They had issues with the alternate. Then 4G, and now you are ready to roll out the 5G.
Thank you very much. Order. Honorable members, government is continuous. Ghanaians are aware that they just left power some 3 weeks ago. So please proceed to answer the question.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, I was going to, following on your premise, the Honorable just admitted the failings of the past government over the last 8 years, but we would fix it. President Mahama is here to reset the country, and in resetting it, 4G, and rolling out 5G are not mutually exclusive. With the right handsets, skill sets, and the persons in charge, you can do all of those at the same time. We would make sure that 3G and 4G penetration gets to all the hamlets and villages you've spoken about, and at the same time, roll out 5G. We will do it. It is possible to reset Ghana.
My last question.
Thank you. Yes, your very last question.
Grateful that you said it's possible. My last question, Mr. Nominee, what's your take on ECOWAS and the national roaming policy? You know that in Europe, subscribers do have this European policy where if, say, from one European country to the other, you pay the same cost for data and then for calls. But in Africa, it's totally different.
Honorable member, your question.
The question is, Mr. Chairman, I was building, the background.
Please.
The question is, what is your take on ECOWAS and this, its a national roaming policy? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I think that the roaming policy is one that we need to embrace. under the last administration, I'm aware that there are about 3 other African countries where Ghana has signed on with, where you can roam your calls and data. I believe that we're going to continue under the ECOWAS framework to ensure that that roaming, ECOWAS roaming, and Honorable Chairman, there's a bit of a distinction between ECOWAS roaming and national roaming. The question seems to equate both. They're 2 different things, because ECOWAS roaming is between Ghana and other member states of ECOWAS. National roaming is within the confines of the country, but between the MNOs. So you're an MTN user, you get into an area, you can run on the Telecel network. A Telecel network user can run on the AT network. So we'll work on both national roaming to integrate it properly and ECOWAS roaming as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will recognize Honorable Alassane Umar.
Thank you, Chairman, for this opportunity. Honorable Sam George, congratulations. I wish you well. I have a question regarding this. I have 2. One is about the party manifesto, and that is about the rolling out of how will you roll out the 1 million coders project? Can you tell us?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the number of models considered, when approved by this House, I would, under the instructions of His Excellency, determine which of the models will be suitable for rolling His Excellency. But we've got about 3 models, but I can't speak to them until approved by this House and giving direction by His Excellency. But we have 3 models to run them out. Thank you.
Thank you. My second question is about MTN Ghana has been declared as an SMP, which is a significant market power. Would you reverse the decision, and why?
Thank you very much. The outgone minister or the outgone administration declared MTN as an SMP under Section 20 of the NCA Act. Mr. Chairman, being declared an SMP is not a bad thing. However, the mode in which you use it is where the problem is. The previous administration used the SMP tool as a punitive measure. The SMP tool is meant to be a corrective measure. In fact, since the minister declared MTN an SMP, their market share has grown instead of it fixing the distortion in the market. We will use the SMP as a corrective tool, not to punish an investor who has made solid investment in our country over the past years, but also to make sure that we create an equitable playing space for all the players so that the customer has multiplicity of options to benefit from. So the SMP will be used as a corrective tool, not as a punitive tool under the Mahama administration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You said you have 2 questions. I will now give the floor to Honorable Ritana Odolesoa.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wish to congratulate my brother, Honorable, on his nomination by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, for believing in you that you can. My question is, do you think there are too many taxes in the communications sector, and what do you intend to do about that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This question is more like a trick question. I'm guided and minded that my brother, who has been vetted and approved by the House to forcing, is dealing with plugging a big, deep hole in our national purse. And so talking about taxes is pretty touchy. However, yes, if you look at the cost build-up for taxation, when you look at a network like Telecel, about 27% of the cost build-up is taxes. When you go to a network like MTN, it's almost 40%. It's important that we look at the taxes in there. I know that the government has indicated, our government has indicated that we'll repeal the COVID levy. The COVID levy is part of the cost build-up. But I think that one of the key things we need for the telcos to help the pricing would be to look at power tariffs. Because power tariffs is where the real issue is. That's where the real cost element comes. And conversations are already on the foot between myself and Honorable George and the industry to see how we can work on that. But I believe that something has to be done about the tax build-up for the sector. Thank you.
You have additional questions.
Yes.
Please go ahead
Okay.
quickly.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to find out from the Honorable nominee, as members of Parliament, there's cybercrime ongoing where Facebook accounts of honorable members of Parliament, because I'm an M, speak to that, I'll say impersonation of our accounts, and people are duping people through our names, and sometimes they'll say they're going to create employment for them. This is something we reported in the 8th Parliament, and nothing was done about it. These people have MTN Momo accounts, and they are able to get people to pay monies into those accounts, and it's a bit worrying. What do you intend to do, or what can you do about giving the nod as the minister? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question is double-edged. You're talking about impersonation on social media, on platforms that are outside the jurisdiction, run from outside the jurisdiction, and then you're talking about mobile money fraud, which happens within the jurisdiction. On the Facebook platforms, I think that we're going to work closely with members of Parliament. The Speaker tried to do that with leadership of the House in the 8th Parliament to try and get all members of Parliament to come together and public government officials for us to identify your accounts and then verify those accounts. But let me use this platform to appeal to the young people and the people of our country. No member of Parliament or Minister of State will come into your inbox on Facebook and offer you a job. It is a scam. Please beware. We've given this notice several times because cyber awareness is the key to this. So we beg, no minister or MP will come and offer you a job. When it comes to the mobile money fraud, that's the more reason why we need to do the SIM re-registration. Because today when you ask the MNOs to identify for you who really uses that SIM, they are unable to do so because many of those were pre-registered SIMs. And if there's an instance I'm aware of last year where we pursued with the Cybersecurity Authority from Parliament here because it involved a member of Parliament. When we found out the card that was used to register the SIM, the individual whose card was used had never even gone to that MNO to register a SIM. So somebody had used his details to register that SIM. That's why we need to re-register the SIM. So we will work with the MNOs to clean up the sector using SIM re-registration and then ensure KPIs that will drop cybercrime using mobile money fraud. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to wish him the very best and God's blessings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I proceed to recognize Honorable Samuel Nartey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Nominee, permit me to take you back a bit to the question of LGBTQ. Let me take you back to 2014 during a program on multi-TV, Joy News, Joy TV. That time, it was Majority Caucus. And let me paraphrase. That is a direct quote, and I'm quoting in full. I believe that this matter has been overflogged and is being pushed just to suit a thing, parochial political agenda. C, irrespective of my personal opinion on homosexuals, the Constitution of this country remains supreme. And the Constitution of this country enjoins that everybody has right. And their rights must be protected. It's actually one of the preambles to the Constitution of Ghana. We must speak issues which are of necessity to the Ghanaian people. The amount of airtime we have wasted, pertinent issues of water, pertinent issues of power, potential petrol prices going up. Look, those are the things that bother everybody. And they don't care whether the president, at that time, His Excellency President Mahama, who published his book, is gay or not. This was in 2014. My friend and brother nominee, I want to ask, has this view changed? And if it has, what occasioned it?
Thank you very much. I would, if I had the opportunity, play the full recording of my submission for the purpose of the country, because what you have read is a 2 minutes, 14 seconds transcript.
I have the video. Do you want us to play it?
The transcript is of a 2 minutes, 14 section of a 14 minutes long submission.
Honorable nominee, I think the question that he's asking is whether or not your view has changed.
Chairman, respectfully, he layered the question. My answer needs to be layered as well. So I plead with you to give me some time.
My respected colleague, Chair, thank you for the opportunity. The public misconstrue the engagement. Certain questions are being asked. They are not meant to embarrass you. I want you to sit here with a mindset that this inquisition is for the purpose of governance. No intention to disrespect you. We are political animals. There are times that when we are in the space of politics, we act in a certain manner. But with the benefit of hindsight, we all realize that, oh, maybe this one, it could have been this or that. So Sam, take it easy, relax. This vetting process can be as short as possible, depending on posture, approach. I recall, and I will say this with the leave of chair, I recall, in my early days in practice, here was a young barrister advocating for behalf of my clients. And in the bail application, I was talking too much law. I recall the district magistrate, after court, called me into his office and asked me whether I know why my client was denied bail. He said, normally, before a court and you want bail, the approach is not all about the law, how you even extend courtesies to the court. Situations where you think the court is erring, how you go about it will contribute materially to how the judge will treat your client. I'm just saying this to get you to take a deep breath, to listen, so we can have a very good interaction. Don't be agitated at all. Is that okay? Fair? Is that okay?
Mr. Chairman, I am in no way agitated. I'm extremely calm. And I just want to respond, and no offense taking to the question by my brother and friend. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, what I was saying was that it was a 14-minute submission. And in the quote, you hear that I spoke about quality. As far as I am concerned, is an aberration of the mind. It has been my position in 2014. It is my position today. In 2014, we did not have an advocacy office opened in Ghana to promote LGBTQ. We didn't have it on our screens and in our books like we did in 2020. So the exigencies in 2014 were completely different from the exigencies in 2020 or 2021.
So, Honorable nominee, your views are the same.
Yes.
Please proceed to the question.
Mr. Chairman, this is a follow-up. So it's not the second question, Mr. Chairman. It's a follow-up. Nominee, you spoke about almost a 14-minute video. But what I read, was it part of the 14-minute video? And if so, that's why I asked, if these words were part of the 14-minute video, has your views changed? Because first, it was general. Now, it is more specific of anti. That's why I'm asking, has the views changed? It's a direct one I asked. Thank you, Mr.
Respectfully, Chairman.
Honorable member, I think from the answer, the view is the same. He said,
Mr. Chairman, he's a colleague, a friend, and a brother. But this vetting is supposed to bring the best out of our appointees. So it's important that the narrative is set right. That's why, Mr. Chairman, I said I wanted him to respond directly. That's all. Then I'll go to my second question.
so please direct response.
My views
Please,
have not
please.
changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My second question to the nominee. Data has become a gold mine in Ghana. Data. In fact, even when you are bored, resort to is data. And tech companies are in a race to mine data from consumers, devising sometimes unethical measures and means. Through unsolicited means, you get messages and all that. How do you hope to address this major challenge? Because there are people that you wake up every morning and you don't even know where and how they got your data and your number. So how do you want to help us as a nation address this challenge? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Data indeed is a gold mine, and we would resource and retool the Data Protection Commission under the guidance and leadership of His Excellency John Mahama to ensure that data protection is a priority in our country. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Have the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I would like to once again go on a follow-up.
Follow up on data protection?
No, it wasn't on, yes, but basically now, I wasn't even just talking about the data protection. I also wanted to know some measures. I want some, at least, if you can, practical measures that you know that you can also adopt to help us address this challenge. And Honorable Nominee, let me give you an example. For instance, in my previous job as Director General of the NLA, on numerous occasions, you have National Security, NCA, Data Protection Authority writing to you and saying that consumers are complaining that you are sending them messages. Meanwhile, it wasn't from the NLA. If you have some practical measures that you think can also help us address it. If you do not have it here, that's no problem. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The issue of unsolicited messages, if that's what you're referring to, unsolicited messages is one that is disturbing, and it's one that the regulator, the NCA, has gotten its marching orders since 7th of January 2025 to decide to work with the MNOs to clamp down on, to ensure that unsolicited messages are cut to the barest minimum. We'll work with the MNOs to ensure that that is fully applied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My last question. Honorable Nominee, sometime, I think last year, and this question, I'm just giving you the background, because so it can help us with can help you with your answers.
Honorable Samuel.
First of all, Mr. Chairman, I will be. Mr. Chairman, this one affected everybody, that's why. You know, there was a time when totally almost everybody could not send messages. That's why I'm situating that question in that. You know, because they said underground cable, something had happened to it, left, right, center. So now my question, Honorable Nominee, does Ghana have a national emergency plan to guide how the country deals with these national disasters, which incorporates telecommunication? Am I allowed to ask my question? Mr. Chairman. What? Mr. Chairman, that's what they are heckling me. The honorable
Honorable members, order. Please proceed to ask your last question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity again. In fact, that deals with national disaster, which incorporate telecommunication and meteorological data. The role of communication in such management of such telecommunication disasters, because we all experienced it at some point in time last year. If we don't have such a plan, no one can anticipate tomorrow. Is this something that is key on your agenda as well in these days of technological age?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The record of President Mahama speaks to the fact that this will be a critical part. The National Emergency Operations Center, which today is the nerve center of our emergency response, was built by him in 2015. Now that he's back in 2025, we will give full actualization to that center using technology to ensure that we have a proper disaster recovery plan in place. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
My follow-up, the last one. Mr. Chairman, 3 questions and follow-ups. Mr. Chairman. So, Honorable Nominee, Honorable Nominee, my last question, which is also a follow-up, is that personally, do you think that the cost of bundle, data, and all that, do you think that it's expensive as compared to other places, or you think we are paying the right prices for it?
Well, this is not a follow-up, but I'll allow the nominee to provide the answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I hold the view respectfully that we could get more value for what we pay as a country for data. I've already begun conversations on the instructions of His Excellency the President with stakeholders to ensure that we get more value. More value could be in reduction in prices or in offerings. So it could be if you pay, for example, 100 Ghana cedis and you got 100 gig of data, we could maintain the same 100 Ghana cedis but give you 150 gig of data. So that's more value. Or the 100 gig could drop to 75 cedis. There are different models around it. But like I said in an earlier answer, we're working around what goes into the cost element, largely electricity, and some work has begun on that. So yes, we hope to see prices of data hopefully drop before the end of this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll give the floor to Honorable Shaibu Mama. And Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dapamoko should be in readiness to follow up.
Thank you very much. Honorable, my brother Samuel George, congratulations. A well-deserved nomination. So I'm going to take you to rural telephony. And this for and on behalf of many legislators seated here, and those who are not here, who represent rural communities. Indeed, rural telephony has become a big in all the locals. Those of you in the cities are very blessed to be covered by the national coverages. But sometimes 80% of some communities or some constituencies have no network at all. Sam, tell us what plans you have for rural telephony. Elaborate plans. The rural people are listening to you and have asked me to tell you that the people in the city are the ones who care about. The rural people write exams, JHS exams. They have to travel to the towns to just use internet to access results. That tells the importance of telephony and network in the rural communities. Please tell the country and tell the rural people what plans you have for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I crave your indulgence to give me 2 minutes to answer this question because he's asked for an elaborate plan. My appointer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the great-grandson of Indeo Rajapaksa.
Honorable nominee, try and do it in 1 minute, 20 seconds.
He comes from a village, a rural community. And one of my marching orders is to ensure universal access. In fact, just this past week, His Excellency was in Kenya, where he signed up to universal access for electricity and internet on the African continent. Now, how are we going to do this? GIFEC, the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, is the primary driver of rural connectivity. If you read our manifesto, we state explicitly that we're expanding that mandate to make it the Digital Economy Development Fund. So it's able to do even more than just that. But what we're going to do is an aggressive process to make sure that As we saw rural electrification under Jerry John Rawlings, you will see massive rural last-mile connectivity under John Dramani Mahama. We need spectrum for that. And one of the things we can use to do that is to do the digital switchover, which will open up TV white spaces. Ghana should have done the switchover in 2015. It didn't happen. So we will do that. And then the last thing that we're going to do is, as a government, we're going to prioritize making sure that the equipment that was ordered with the taxpayers' money under the last administration and have sat in a warehouse for 2 years and for which warranty has expired,
Please
we would find a way of bringing those equipments out and using them for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. Chairman, I did 1 minute, 45 seconds. Thank you
very much. Any further question?
Indeed, you were short, but elaborate. Leader, my second question, second and last, actually. 80, Airtel Tigo, 100% Ghana, government of Ghana. Is that the case? 100% government of Ghana. Airtel Tigo.
Yes, please. If approved by this House, I will be the CEO, chairman, and board of Airtel Tigo. 100% owned by government of Ghana.
Beautiful. They still run a 3G. Is that the case?
Yes, please.
Please. Airtel Tigo not competitive enough to rake in the needed revenue for government. Obsolete equipment. I mean, they just can't compete in the market. Please tell us what plans you have for Airtel Tigo. On that note, I wish you very well in your new role. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, Airtel Tigo is a sorry example of what mismanagement of the telecom sector has been in 8 years. Because Airtel Tigo is the illicit love child of Airtel and Tigo. That was tried to be fused together to make it survive, but still, it has end-of-life equipment, debt in excess of 500 million. It's really unsustainable. But there is a roadmap under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to find a way where we'll have no job losses and to consolidate government's shareholdings into a viable enterprise in the sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Roxanne, you have the floor.
Chairman, thank you. The 7 boys, myself, you, Yusuf, Mutala, Ernest, Adongo, Suhini, and Jinapo. Today we are here. No doubt about your abilities, qualities that you bring. Just be careful. I know you Ernest, Adongo. I wish you all the best. Suhini, I wish you all the best. And the question about rural telephony has been asked. And you know, we've been there together. How, as MPs, we are worried by our constituents to improve the networks of the various internet. I wish you all the best. Together. And I know you are. I wish you all the best. And the question about rural telephony has been asked. And you know, we've been there.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to Deputy Ranking, Honorable Patricia.
I wish you all the best. Together. And I know you are. I wish you all the best. And the question about rural telephony has been asked. And you know, we've been there.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to Deputy Ranking, Honorable Patricia.
I wish you all the best.
Congratulations.
And I know you are. I wish you all the best. And the question about rural telephony has been asked. And you know, we've been there.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to Deputy Ranking, Honorable.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
Honorable.
Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best.
Congratulations.
And the question about
at this, thank you very much. I give the floor to Deputy. Thank you very much.
Same people were saying that they want rule of law and all. So I'm just drawing your attention. All right? Yes, please. Let's land safely. Your advocates are many. Let's land safely. Don't disappoint your advocates. Yo.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Proceed with your other question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. So I just want to find out in the midst of current dispensation, if
there to begin to rethink the way we can make the post office a 360-degree service center, especially leveraging on the enhanced community information centers that we have built across the country, and partnering with GIFEC on those to make them truly digital centers where you can get more than just delivery of parcels. So I'm adding them with you on that. We need to make it more than just receiving and sending parcels. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a follow-up on that. I just want to believe that one of the major or current problems we have, I don't know if you've heard this terminologies, Sakawa, 419, internet fraud, cybersecurity really. And the fact that I heard you earlier mention people having some Facebook accounts, 10, 20, and it's only perhaps you have one, even when it's validated. I'm just wondering, cybersecurity authority that we have, we still have a lot of online impersonation and cyber fraud and mobile money fraud. I do not know what steps you have or you intend to bring on board to curb, even though I really take care of this, because we have a lot of cyber issues. I mean, people are not too sure whether or not mobile money is the way to go, although it's very functional and active. You pay, the next thing you know is being received by the wrong person.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I believe that one of the challenges we've had is that we've not been able to grow our cybersecurity authority because of lack of capacity and funding. There's a raise-on project that was begun under the last government. It's stalled for almost 4 years. They need just about $5 million to kickstart the project. That's one of the things we'll be prioritizing, to make sure that the cybersecurity authority is fully tooled and equipped to be able to deliver. However, on the issues of mobile money fraud, we have to work collaboratively with the MNOs. And that's why we have to go back to the issue of SIM re-registration again, to properly register the SIMs so that the MNOs can identify who it is. Because it's one thing blocking the SIMs, it's another thing tracking the persons, the cartels behind it, and being able to arrest them and prosecute them. You need to be able to identify persons who hold SIMs. And so working together with the regulators in the space, we will get it done. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a follow-up. On SIM registration, so what are the good people of Ghana expected to do with the new, your intention to re-register SIMs? What's going to happen to the ones we have already? Or those who have taken time to have registered earlier? What happens to them? How much is that going to cost you to undertake such a project?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. All three questions have been previously answered by me. If I have the direction for me to repeat my answers, then I'll proceed.
Please do. You can repeat the answers, but okay. Be brief.
Nobody, no Ghanaian will lose their SIM cards. They have to do nothing. It's going to be a technology-driven exercise between the NCA, the MNOs, and the National Identification Authority. If there are any disparities in the records, such individuals will be notified to visit this provider. But majority, we believe that over 90% of SIM holders would not have to visit their service providers. So there will be no activity done. You just get notification that the verification has happened back end and you're verified.
So just to ask, if there's no cost that will be incurred during the process.
I'm coming there. Yes. Will there be cost incurred? There will be cost, but it will be borne by the MNOs, because it serves the MNOs' own purpose for them to be able to know who is holding their SIMs. Because if they can't identify who are holding the SIMs, they are liable to fines from the NCA. They would rather have us do a clean identity SIM register than to get fines.
Thank you, Honorable.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Thank you. I now give the floor to the minority leader and ranking member of the committee. And honorable members, because he has given me his words, I would have to take leave of you to go and preside over the house. So, please, Just.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable nominee, first, I thank you for making time to answer questions as part of the process of your eventual appointment as a Minister of State. Let me also commend you for availing yourself for this process. I've sent you a paper. I want you to read the content aloud, and we shall begin our journey for the engagement. Please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. The paper handed to me has the peace prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hate, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. There is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Fortified by this, I'm sure your faith will lead you to provide the necessary honest answers that will be required for the purpose of this. My respected colleague, you rightly said that you and I have known each other for many years. Rightly so. In my days as an entrepreneur at Trade Fair, where I was running my transport logistics business, you as a young man rented some of my trucks to do business. And we've had a very excellent relationship since then. I won't be the person to obstruct your career path. In the least, I should guide as your senior brother. Going through your CV, you are 85 born, I'm 78. I've seen a lot that you are here to see. Now, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. My respected colleague, Honorable Abu Jinapo, had posed a question to you regarding views you had earlier expressed about the Chief Justice. It was to the effect that she was deliberately delaying a suit in court. Which suit you and I notoriously know it to be the LGBT suit. Do you, with the benefit of St. Francis's prayer, which you have invoked, think that you were fair to in the comment you made about her publicly? Which comment she's not had an opportunity to publicly rebut. Do you think you were fair?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, giving the facts available to me at the time I made those comments, I did in good faith at the time I made the comment.
The benefit of hindsight.
the facts available to me at the time I made those comments, I believe that they were made in good faith at the time I made the comment.
The benefit of hindsight. And now that you know, and granted, I just want to be fair to you. The case had certain applications flying here and there, and there were parties to it, and the respondent defendant's lawyer had made certain applications to the court, which I'm sure you didn't know at the time, correct? If you did, then the various adjournments which were occasioned by the defendant lawyers couldn't have, you did, then the various adjournments.
Mr. Chairman, respectfully, I disagree.
So it is your case for public records that Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, deliberately delayed the suit that was before the Supreme Court. It is your case.
Mr. Chairman, my argument had always been...
Honorable nominee, respectfully, is it your case that the LGBT case mounted by my respected friend Richard Delasky, barrister at law, etc., was deliberately delayed by the Chief Justice of the Republic? Is that your position? Yes, no?
Mr. Chairman, the description are your attributions, not mine. My words were that she had the power to move the case faster than it was being done. And subsequent actions after the demonstration that I led have actually proved my position to be true. That when the Chief Justice gives a timeline, everybody, respondent or plaintiff, Attorney General inclusive, must abide by it. When she invoked her powers, everybody complied. So that she could have expedited it if she had earlier timelines were proven right by her subsequent actions. Thank you.
Do you think that prior to your comment, she was not doing her job well? Is that your case?
Mr. Chairman, I thought she did better in the exercise of her public office.
Do you think that your commentary was fair to her?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that all public officers are subject to constructive criticism, and I consider my comments constructive criticism.
Honorable Samuel George, this of empaneling, the process a case travels involving parties, cannot be at the instance of the Chief Justice of the Republic. Due to that,
the rules of procedure for of judges in the cases.
Do you have evidence that my lady, the Chief Justice, delayed in empaneling justices for the case?
Mr. Chairman, there was never a question about a delay in empaneling. There was a question about a delay in hearing.
What occasioned the hearing?
Mr. I believe that only the Chief Justice can explain to this House why, when she gives a date of July 18th for ruling, when we appeared before her on the 18th of July, she chose to adjourn ruling on the matter indefinitely. I can't speak to her reasoning.
Were you a party in the case?
Not directly, sir.
Were you a party in the case? Were you a party in the suit?
Not on the record.
Had you filed as an interested party in the suit, Mr. Sam George?
Not on the record.
Was it fair?
Leader, you just...
Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee, you just answered to the question from the ranking that you were not a party of record in the matter under interrogation. And you also did not file as an amicus. But can you confirm whether the subject of the litigation affected you?
Very much so. I was one of 8 sponsors of the bill before the court.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chairman, I would want to respectfully crave the indulgence of my colleagues to allow us a good understanding what we are doing. Have a smooth inquisition that will help democracy. So, you have answered to a follow-up question that you had an interest in the case.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Yet you didn't deem it fit to get into the case through your lawyer or by yourself.
Mr. Chairman, I had absolute trust in the representation for Mr. Speaker, who was a plaintiff and who, in my opinion, represented the interest of the sponsors of the bill. Thank you.
You mean the defendant, because that was a defendant?
Correct.
Nominal defendant for the defendant in the matter was the Attorney General. It be institutional matter.
That's Chairman.
So I'm asking you that when you say we were given a date, what were you referring to?
I was referring to the defendants in the case.
We defendant, you were not part record. So you agree with me that you not being a defendant and you not being a party in the suit, having criticized the
being a judgment on the injunction case, because there were 2 cases before the court, the substantive and the case for injunction. Now, the decision not to give a ruling on the injunction case basically and technically stayed in the hand of Parliament indefinitely, because so long as there was no ruling, Parliament could not appeal, Parliament could not act. It held Parliament in abeyance for almost 5 months.
What the law told you, because we would then need to subpoena the lawyers to take the oath, because you are anchoring your criticism of the learned Chief Justice of the Republic to something that is done. So I just want to know from you whether the lawyers told you. I'm not done.
Leader, can I, with respect?
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, please.
I have all the walls.
Okay, you can come in, please.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee, you just answered to a question. You made some comments after the court's adjournment.
Yes, please.
In the matter. Yes, by way of criticism. Yes, please. Can you confirm? Let me, Chairman, please. Can we have some order around the table, Chairman?
Please go ahead. Let's have one meeting, please. Please go ahead.
Mr. Nominee, let me avert your mind to the constitutional provision contained in Article 21, one of the Constitution. Now, may I put it to you, and by way of a yes and no, that whether your right as encapsulated in Article 21(1), which is to this effect, all persons shall have the right to freedom of speech and expression, which shall include freedom of the press and other media, and B, freedom of thought, conscience, and belief, which shall include academic freedom. Can you confirm to this committee, yes or no, whether the exercise of that right to criticism was framed, anchored on this provision of the Constitution, which guarantees that freedom?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, leader, please continue.
Mr. Sam George.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Did you receive information regarding the reasons for the adjournment sine die from the lawyers for the second defendant parliament?
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't client to the lawyers, so they didn't need to give me any information.
Did the lawyers tell you that the inability of the court to make a pronouncement on the said dates affected the work of Parliament?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think it's in the place of the lawyers to determine what affects the work of Parliament. That's the role of Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
You had said that because of the decision of that day, Parliament could not proceed with its work, and that affected its work for some 5 months, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Did that information come from to you?
Mr. Chairman, that information came to me from my reading of Article 106 of the Constitution, and with your read.
Yes, please. Kindly take the leave of chair, not me.
Yes. Mr. Chair, do I have your permission? So I read Article 107 of the Constitution, and that's what shall signify within 7 days after, unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State under Article 90 of this Constitution. Parliament was unable, in fact, there was a letter, a cease and desist letter, signed by then Executive Secretary to the President, Nana Asante Bediotwo, asking Parliament not to transmit the bill by Parliament, premised on the fact that there was a pending court case. Even though I think it's important we take judicial notice, his letter to Parliament came a day before any lawsuit was filed before the courts. Thank you.
I am asking you, do you think that your attack on the Chief Justice of the Republic had any basis in the exercise of those your constitutional rights?
Mr. Chairfully, I did not the Chief Justice. I criticized her, and she's not above criticism. Thank you.
In context, your criticism of her, you said,
I'm unable to repeat any of those here, Mr. Chairman, because it's being the exigencies of time have overtaken it. If there is any specific reference you would like to make, I'm willing to respond to that. Thank you.
Did you write on your social media wall those criticisms? Did you write them?
I want to believe that I express my views on social media. Yes.
Give you an opportunity to refer to your social media wall and read aloud and in full those criticisms that you don't readily remember. So go to your social media wall, pick it, we'll give you time so that you can read it, then we can proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know about the ranking member, but I'm extremely active on social media. In fact, one of the most active politicians in this country on social media. It would be an exercise for me to say that I am scrolling through the hundreds and thousands of posts to begin and identify. If I had been given 4 notices of this, I could have gotten a team to do that. But I believe that if there's a particular case that is in question, I could be referred to it. Thank you.
Our proceedings allow a member to rely on an important document. Therefore, if the member will need to go through the particular post, we would give him the time. He should be able will need time to go through the particular post. We would give him the time. He should be able to furnish us with that. So, Chairman, with the greatest respect, let him have the time available.
Mr. Chairman, if there is the need for evidence of that, I can subsequently provide that to the committee. I can print a timeline history for the purposes of the committee, because I will not be able to tell what would be of interest to the questioner. So I'll print out my entire timeline for the committee subsequent to this engagement. Thank you.
Honorable Roxon, you have the floor.
Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee, social media has been defined in our statutes. How many social media platforms do you have? And which one particularly is in question? We know of Facebook. We know of Twitter, which is now X. We know of pages. We know of TikTok. So, Chairman, it will be prudent and for the ranking member to be specific, because social media refers to a plethora of other media platforms that are deployed in cyberspace. So if he can be specific, then I believe that the nominee can be guided and also tailor his answers to those particular references. With all respect, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to be specific on the just raised?
Chairman, before I proceed, I want to suggest to you to kindly reiterate an earlier call by the chair of this committee, was to some of our colleagues who join us but are not members. I don't want to mention a name, I repeat, I don't want to mention a name, but I want to urge my colleagues who are joining us. You may say something not for the records, but when I hear this requires mutual respect. Some are knowing Sam George for the first time. The minority is supposed to do its work. So if you are a first timer and you are here by the grace of God, take this opportunity and learn. Call your leader name. If you attempt to act in a manner unbecoming of a backbencher who has just joined parliament, you will be schooled to know the courtesies that are accorded leaders, especially when a leader is on a firm ground in his duties. Honorable nominee, my respected, in your own words, you have had the occasion to criticize the Chief Justice of the Republic in a matter that you were not a party to, correct?
Correct.
In your own words, these criticisms were written on your social media platform, correct?
Not exclusively. Other times I spoke about them on national media platforms.
So for our purpose, let's deal with those that you wrote on your social media platforms, correct?
Very well, Mr. Chairman.
Now, my question to you is, do you remember the exact words that you used in describing the Chief Justice in your criticisms?
It will be difficult because, like the Majority Chief Whip had pointed out, I do not even know the platform. Referring to. I have account on Facebook, in fact, 2 accounts on Facebook, a private page and an official page. I have an X account, I've got an Instagram account, I've got a TikTok account, I've got a LinkedIn account. So it's like, once again, I repeat that out, Mr. Chairman, I'll be grateful if specifics could be applied to the issue here. Thank you.
My question to you is, which of the platforms did you use in your supposed constructive criticism of the Chief Justice in a matter that you were not a party to?
Yes. Yes. Chairman, with respect, that in law school classroom together, we graduated to, and we are both seasoned practitioners, and we've done criminal prosecution, and we understand the principles. He who alleges must prove. You are interrogating a nominee alleging certain matters. He has given answers. You may not like the answers. It is up to you to put into the further and better particulars. That when I refer to the fact that you made certain comments by way of criticism of the CJ, it was an so and so and so social media platform. Here are the prints. In fact, in the course of this committee's work, you have demonstrated those abilities. You brought information and material particulars before the committee and reference nominees to speak to them. Some you actually label them Exhibit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this matter, with all due respect to him, if he hasn't got information, he may still make progress. But if he wants to stay on this course, then you should be providing information by way of material particular so the honorable nominee can speak to by admitting to same or denying same. So we can make progress. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Leader, just give me a second. Well, I am presiding over this, and you are talking about matters of law. I think as a presiding chair, I have the right to give space for some of my team members to be able to define matters of law, for me to be able to make an informed decision. And it is for that reason, Honorable Roxanne, and I hope that that is fine.
I don't have a problem at all. This exercise is good. Posterity will deal with this, and the jury is out there. For many years to come, we'll refer to these proceedings. But since my respected colleague and classmate has taken us to the classroom, the classroom that we are, we have to do some exercise there. The issue that is being discussed has been attested to by the nominee. It isn't the case that he's denying knowledge of any criticism. He said he has done so. And he says he stands by it. It is on that basis that I am asking him. He should tell us the very thing that he is admitting to. He should tell us where he did it. He himself said some was by words of mouth on platforms. He said it in the media. Some too, he posted them. So he should be able to tell us in an honest way where he posted them. If, as it were, he had said that, oh, he doesn't remember ever saying it, he hasn't said anything at all, then I would ask him to identify a document and speak to it and find out whether he is the one who authored it. But he says he has done something. And I'm asking him to now tell us where he did it. It's as simple as that, Chairman. So he's supposed to answer that question.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, once again, I reiterate my answer that I'm unable to know which of the platforms I have posted on that he's referring to. And let me state, for attacked the Chief Justice, it doesn't amount to an attack on her. It's a critique of her. But I'll be grateful, and I'm willing to identify any documents that are available, and I'll speak to them with all integrity and honesty. Thank you.
You have your constitution with you?
Yes, please.
Earlier, the Honorable Roxanne spoke about your rights in the law, and you read the rights, that you had a right to freedom of speech, correct?
That's correct. The Honorable Roxanne read that.
Go to Article 41 of the same Constitution. Read the side notes.
Duties of a citizen.
Repeat it.
Duties of a citizen.
What? I didn't hear.
Duties of a citizen.
Go to Article 41D. Read 41D aloud.
the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen to respect the rights, freedoms, and legitimate interest of others, and generally to refrain from doing acts detrimental to the welfare of other persons.
Very well. Very well. I shall, Chairman, with your leave. Chairman, with your leave, I shall, through you, forward to the nominee a document for him to read aloud. I have a series of them. Read number 9. Number 9.
SB1 series.
Must prompting you. You get you. What is this? We have agreed to do so. Honorable, order, Chairman, honorable nominee, you have, I've turned to number 9. You've seen it labeled?
Yes, please, number 9.
Please read the content of that post of yours aloud.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the current Chief Justice is engaged in judicial thuggery and poses an existential threat to the dispensation of justice in an equitable, fair, and just manner. Such partisan behavior at the apex court of our judiciary must not be entertained and must be condemned with all the force reasonable people can muster. Judicial gangsterism is a precursor for the breakdown in the dispensation of justice and the doctrine of the rule of law. Common sense ought to be an ingredient in the dispensation of justice.
My respected colleague, what you have just read, was it authored by you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
What date was this authored?
On the 27th of March, 2024.
Now, on the 27th of March, 2024, you wrote this about the Chief Justice of the Republic, correct?
Yes, I did.
You have again read Article 41D. For the avoidance of doubt, read it at the risk of being repetitive. Read it one more time.
Mr. Chairman, I remember the content.
Read it one more time.
Well, I'm not going to read the heading again. I'll just read the 41D.
I am asking you a question, honorable nominee.
Yes.
Once the question is allowed, you cannot overrule it.
The
I'm saying read
exercise-
41, yes, in full. Read 41D.
The exercise of rights and freedoms, duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen to respect the rights, freedoms, and legitimate interests of others, and generally to refrain from doing acts detrimental to the welfare of other persons.
My respected colleague, what you have just read as your constitutional duty, and what you have also read as your constitutional rights, if you reconcile, would you say that all those words you used to describe the Chief Justice were fair?
Mr. Chairman, that post was premised on my understanding and reading of Article 296 of the Constitution, and I will proceed to read with your leave.
That's okay. Please proceed.
The side note is exercise of discretionary power. where in this Constitution or in any other law discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, A, that discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. B, the exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased based on resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with due process of law. And C, where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published by constitutional instrument or statutory instrument regulations that are not inconsistent with the provision of this Constitution or that aid or that other law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power. Discretionary power is vested with the Chief Justice. Exercise same in the matter before her. My views were what I expressed in the post.
When did you say you posted those comments?
27th of March 2024 at 34 a.m.
What occasioned this post?
Activities that had gone on the previous day in court.
Can you share with us the activities that had gone on in the previous day in court, and in which matter?
It was in the anti-LGBTQ case, the case you referenced earlier on. I don't really remember all the details, but I'm fully aware that my comments were in reference to the actions that had happened the day before in court.
You had earlier said that your criticism was premised on a July 28th appointment. Now you are referring to a March post. So which is which? Just reconcile.
Chairman, at no point in my previous answer did I say that my displeasure with the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice was exclusive to the ruling that started in court from the 5th of March. I made reference to the fact that the July 18th ruling is what led me to lead a national demonstration against the Chief Justice.
So what exactly did the Chief Justice do to you on the 5th of July, of March 2024? 24, you said 23rd.
27th of March.
This post was 27th of March. And you are saying that based on what happened in court on the 26th of March. And can you tell us exactly what happened on the 26th of March, which led to such description of the Chief Justice of the Republic?
Mr. Chairman, let me be clear that I have answered this already and stated that I don't really remember all the actions that happened there. But again, let me be very quick to add that post this social media post, the Chief Justice has had occasion to write to me on 2 occasions through the Judicial Secretary. The Chief Justice is clothed with the powers of contempt. If she thought and held the view that legally I had erred, the Supreme Court of Ghana is not one that has shied away from using its contempt powers. They have failed to hold me for contempt because I have not erred, and I'm sure that the Chief Justice herself and the Judicial Council and the Supreme Court recognize that constructive criticism is helpful for the dispensation of our justice system. Thank you.
So you hold a view that those words used in describing the Chief Justice of the Republic to you remain constructive and nothing less?
I hold that view, sir.
Clerk, kindly furnish me the document. Honorable nominee, please let's go to your CV. Please, where were you born?
I was born in Somanya in the eastern region of Ghana.
I'm not familiar with Somanya. Is it in the eastern region of the country?
Mr. Chairman, I just stated that I was born in Somanya in the eastern region of Ghana.
Now, Krobo, Odumase, and Somenya, are they the same?
I am unable to respond accurately to that. I'm not sure about that, but I believe that one of the MPs from the Krobo area is present in the committee. He can help us with the geography.
Honorable nominee, respectfully, are you familiar with Krobo Odumase?
Yes, I know the constituency, the lower Manya Krobo constituency, and upper Manya, yes.
I'm not talking about constituency. I'm talking about a town called Krobo Odumase. Odumase Krobo.
Yes, I know a town that exists, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. And I'm asking you whether that town and Somenya are the same.
I am unable to answer. I told you I'm not very conversant with the geography of the area.
Did you live in Somenya where you were born?
Chairman, you came in when I did the introductory part. I said that I was born in Somanya, but I grew up in Nigeria. My mother is here, my birth mother is here, and if you want her to swear the oath, she will, to testify on at what age she took me. But I was taken to Nigeria at the age of 6 months. At that age, I don't think I would have been in a position to know what my surroundings were. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, are you currently in possession of a birth certificate?
I don't have my birth certificate here, but I own one.
Is it a very old one or the digital birth certificate?
Mr. Chairman, it's a very old one. My parents have done very well to preserve it.
And that has your place of birth as Somenya?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You are in possession of a Ghanaian passport?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. 2, actually, but under the same name. A regular passport and a diplomatic passport, all under the name Samuel Nartey George. Thank you.
The Ghanaian passport you have, does the place of birth bear Somenya?
Both do, Mr. Chairman.
So you would disagree with anybody who would suggest that you were born in Odumase Krobo? You would disagree?
My parents told me I was born in Somanya. They are the best to determine and tell me where I was born. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, on your CV, you have indicated that you have undertaken a number of courses.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But before then, you have indicated that you speak English, Dangbe, and Tree.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Do you speak any language of Nigerian origin?
Musa Yoruba, dear sir.
You speak Yoruba?
Yes, I do, and a bit of Igbo. I can tell you my name, Ahambu Sam George.
Don't pay attention to my questions. Pay attention to my questions. And then answer my questions. Not for the gallery, but for me. All right? Do you speak Yoruba?
Fairly.
You speak a bit of Igbo?
Yes, please.
To take the leave of Mr. Chair to amend your CV to include Yoruba.
With the leave of Mr. Chairman, if it pleases the committee for me to have to, but I just put the Ghanaian languages I spoke on my CV.
But it is here you stated languages spoken. Languages spoken. So I'm asking, since you say you speak Yoruba, that would you want to take the leave of Mr. Chair to amend to reflect that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it can be amended with the leave of Mr. Chair.
Leave granted, amendment accordingly carried out.
Now, you have stated hometown to mean to be Old Ningo. We've had different descriptions of hometown. So tell you how you come by hometown.
I believe on my CV it says Ahriam, Old Ningo. And Ahriam is where my father hails from, where my father comes from. So that's where my father's house is.
And mom too from there?
My mom is from Old Ningo town itself.
Your CV page 1, you have indicated that you have a BSc Agricultural Engineering, Soil and Water Engineering specialization from KNUST. May I know from you, at KNUST, were you a member of Telco?
Never.
Did you at any point join Telco outside of, at any of the institutions that you studied?
Never, Mr. Chairman.
So you disagree with any report to the effect that you were once upon a time a member of Telco?
That would be an unfortunate lie. I disagree with it.
The state, as part of our vetting, you know that we request for due diligence reports from state security. So, as at January 27, 2025, state security has it that you were once upon a time a member of Telco.
This is part of the reason why I'm on record to have said that the new Mahama administration has to overhaul our entire state security apparatus because it's woefully ineffective if it says I've ever been a member of Telco. Thank you.
Very well. And you would also disagree to the information given to us that you were not born in Odumasu Krobo. You disagree with them?
Absolutely.
Now, you have on page 2 of your CV. Let's go to page 2. You said you have executive masters in international strategy and diplomacy, London School of Economics and Political Science, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
You have the certificate with you?
Not here, but I can furnish the committee with it. If
Chairman, with your leave, would want to take that later, since he doesn't have it now.
No problem.
Certified true copy later, you can let us have it.
I would quickly make the request to the LSE for a certified true copy.
You have the certificate with you. You have graduated.
I have the original certificate framed. You're asking for a certified true copy.
No, but you can certify it. You can get it certified.
I would choose to get it certified from the university that issued the certificate for the purposes of this committee. I'll make the request to the LSE.
This perhaps is a legal question, so it's all right if you understand it, sir. Well, for the benefit of your supporters, we are here to also help you. I know you've done LLB. I know you've done LLB. You've not been called to the bar yet. You don't need to write to your school to give us a certified copy. Once you are in possession of the original, a notary public who cites the original can certify that is the law which they should know. Now, would you be able to furnish us with a certified copy of that certificate?
If it pleases the committee, Mr. Chairman.
When did you start the program? And when did you finish the program?
September 2021, and I submitted my dissertation in July 2022.
How did you pursue the program?
In person.
Now, at all material times, you were a member of parliament. September 2021. You said when did you finish it in 2022?
In July 2022.
So between September 2021 and July 2022, you were a full-time member of parliament. And this school is in the United Kingdom. So share with us how you pursued the program.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that speaks to my dedication and diligence when I put my mind to something. I spent most time...
nominee, how did you pursue the program?
Mr. Chairman, that's where I'm going to, respectfully.
I'm just saying that to help you go straight so that we can finish with you on time.
Mr. Chairman, my program was an executive master's program, and I had multiple class periods and assignment periods. So in every month, we had 10 days of physical contact. And then you had essays that you had to present or submit in the ensuing period until the next class. And so again, if the committee would want for me to show evidence of my travel record, I will show how I spent 10 days in London with the leave of Mr. Speaker sometimes, and when I returned to Ghana to make sure that I stayed within the courses. And I had to do that between September and May. June, July, and August. June and July were not, you didn't need to be in person because that was when we're working on our dissertation. Thank you.
Okay, so you are telling us that, so from September, every month, you were spending 10 days in the United Kingdom, every month.
Give or take, yes, please.
No, let's be specific, because you say we can check that from your travel records and all. I just want us to be very specific in the answers. So September, when you started in September you went to UK for 10 days and came back, correct?
Mr. Chairman, that's why I said give or take. There were times when, because of travel periods, and that was at that time, there were still COVID travel restrictions. So there were times when I had to spend 14 days. There were times when I was able to do 12 days because the regulations in the UK were very fluid at the time. For sometimes, at the early parts, you had to do a 2-day quarantine after entering the UK before you could make yourself available. So yes, I may have gone to school for 10 days, but my travel time included 2 days of quarantine when I entered the UK, so it could have been 12 days. So give or take, it was 10 days at every time.
So you were doing it month on month, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
So you can furnish us with evidence of September travel, October travel, November, December, all the way to May, as you said.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, with your leave, would the nominee has promised to furnish us. So
leave is hereby granted.
Very well. So, honorable nominee, we'll take that one.
I recognize a follow-up question from Honorable Roxanne.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Nominee, did you pursue this program with public funds?
Absolutely not. Fully funded by myself.
Now, this program, do you have an online component of it?
Yes, please. The submission of your essays and all of that.
No, please. My question was very specific. There is an in-person, so I want to find out whether there is an online component of the program. That's all.
Yes, there was an online component.
So in addition to traveling to London, you pursue some aspect of the coursework whilst here.
That's correct.
Chairman, that will be wrong.
Chairman, I'm taking note of the supposed follow-up which come in multiples, and they are indeed substantive. Mr. Roxon has had his time, but anyway, I would tolerate him. It's fine. Okay, so when did you graduate?
I believe it was in December. I attended my graduation, I think, either in December 2022 or January 2023. I need to refresh my memory, but I think it was in December 2022. It's a matter of public
Okay, I'm
record.
sure when we get the certificate, we'll get to know. Now, you said that you fully funded yourself.
Yes, please.
How much did it cost you?
Mr. Chairman, are you asking me the cost of the course or the cost of the entire program? Because
Okay,
that would
I'll
include,
break it down. Don't worry.
That would include travel.
Don't worry. I'll break it down for you. First, let's deal with your tuition fee. How much did it cost you in tuition?
I would have to check with my accounts to determine how much it cost. This was a fee I paid about 4 years ago.
With the leave of chair, would want to have that.
Very
How
well.
much did it cost you in accommodation?
Again, I'll have to check with my residents at the time how much it cost me.
So with the leave of chair, you provide us with that. How much did it cost you in travel?
Again, the tickets vary based on season, so I'll have to
Okay, so
itemize each
don't worry.
ticket and how much it costs.
Okay, so chair would give direction on all three, so you can provide
Leave
that.
is hereby granted for you to bring the cost component.
But Mr. Chairman, respectfully, may I find out why personal expenditure of mine for my own personal development is now the subject of this committee's inquiry?
You should have said that as your answer.
No, Mr. Chairman, I was asked specific questions about whether I did them. Now, the question of providing same, I said I don't have that here, and it would take the leave of the chairman. So it's your leave that would make me, and I could get legal advice on if is the subject of this committee. Thank you.
Well,
Chairman, as you've granted leave for those information to be provided, rely on the nominee to make those available through the clerk. Proceed. Thank you. Now, on the issue of Kofi Annan Training, International Peacekeeping and Training Center, it's on your CV that you have an executive master's in conflict, peace, and security, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Can you share with us how you undertook that program?
Mr. Chairman, that program was a weekend program as an executive master's at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, and I attended with a few other colleagues. Thank you.
How long did it take you?
It was a one-year program. I completed in 2019, but did not graduate in 2019 because I was out of the country on the date of the graduation. And so I came back in 2020 to join the executive cohort 6. I was part of executive cohort 5, but I joined executive cohort 6 in 2020 to graduate. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, back to your CV, you indicate that you've had a certificate in leadership and managerial skills from NDPI.
That's correct.
Are you able to furnish us with the certificate?
I will do so if with the leave of the chair.
Leave is accordingly granted.
Now, have you any registered company, a limited liability company, that you operate outside of your work as a parliamentarian?
I currently do not hold ownership of any company that I operate outside of Parliament.
Prior to this period, were you previously an owner of a limited liability company?
Yes, prior to coming into Parliament, yes, I was.
Can you furnish us with the name of this company?
The first company I think I registered was Events and Multimedia Ghana Limited.
When did you register this company?
Chairman, I don't readily remember.
What is the name of this company?
For emphasis, I will repeat it, Events and Multimedia Ghana Limited.
Who are the other shareholders apart from you?
I don't readily remember, and the company is defunct at the moment.
At what point did this company become defunct?
Upon my entry into Parliament, I stopped working.
When you were operating your company, were you taking only private jobs or you were also doing government jobs?
I never took a government job.
Go through your CV, share with us where on your CV you have provided information of this, your company.
Mr. Chairman, it's not provided on my CV.
With the leave of...
Let's honorable leader, let's get this clear. Is it everything about the nominee that is supposed to be provided on a curriculum vitae? Because this is a defunct company which is no longer operating.
Chairman, respectfully, the nominee has provided us his own CV. The CV, he talks about personal data. He moves from there to profile. He has shared with us his educational background. He goes further to talk about professional experience. He has taken us through conferences he has attended. He has also told us that he is a member of certain boards and agencies. It is therefore proper, as part of the inquisition, to ask which boards he served on, where he's been a director. It is a regular question. And he himself has provided us information as to a company he has registered that he is a shareholder and a director. The issue of it being defunct is a different matter. So, honorable nominee, you have said that at the time you entered Parliament, you stopped running your business, correct?
That's correct, because I became politically exposed.
Very well. So, before entering Parliament, tell us, between which period to which period you operated your business? Tell us, between which period to which period you operated your business, that your company?
Mr. Chairman, I believe I registered this company whilst I was in the university, sometime between 2003 and 2004. I left the university in 2005. And I believe that I stopped running I stopped getting any businesses after I was appointed communication specialist at the president in 2014. Because at the time, the clientele I had required that they couldn't work with me as a PEP. Thank you.
But you just told this committee that you only stopped operating your business when you were elected member of parliament, because at that time you had become politically exposed. Do you still stand by that answer?
Yes, Chairman. You see, the nature of business I had long-term contracts. So even though I became a PEP in 2014, I had contracts that ran till sometime in 2016, and it was indicated to me that those contracts will not be renewed.
Now, share with us the period you became a member of parliament. You were not doing any other business. You were solely dependent on your salary, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as my primary source of income.
Did you have the benefit of any secondary source of income?
Mr. Chairman, I'm married to a very industrious woman.
I don't get it. Please explain.
I'm married to an industrious woman.
Okay, so please explain to her, if you say you are married to an industrious woman, and that is the source of your secondary, what do you mean?
I mean, my wife takes care of me.
Very well. So, industrious woman, she takes care of you. Are you suggesting that she also paid your school fees for your UK program?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that this committee has asked me to furnish them records of my fees that were paid. I believe that I don't see where we're going with this. Thank you.
No, with the greatest respect, honorable nominee, I continue to treat you with respect. If you say you don't see, yours is to answer. If you need guidance, please seek guidance from the chair. If chair allows my question, and you want to say you don't see, where I follow up based on what you say. I never asked you about your wife. I never asked you about her business. You said your wife takes care of you. These are your words. You say your wife is an industrious woman. These are your words. And that is your secondary source of income. These are your words. So, are you aware whether your wife, through her industry, has been paying her taxes? Have you become aware of it?
Mr. Chairman, those are my wife's
affairs. Please, that is personal to your wife. So, with all due respect.
The money... The monies that your wife... The monies that your wife gives you, which monies you say that is your secondary source of income, do you pay taxes on them?
Mr. Chairman, I have at no point in time before this committee, and I'm on record, said that my wife gives me money. I have at no point in time made that claim. My claim before this committee is that my wife takes care of me. I didn't say she gives me money. Thank you.
Is that your secondary source of income?
I have not said so. Your words, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable nominee would leave it there. Whether they are your words or my words, we'll leave it there. Let us proceed. How did you raise the funds to pay your fees? Because this is a matter of record that you provided.
Mr. Chairman, I had savings. Thank you.
Doing up. Honorable nominee.
Yes, Mr.
Please,
Chair.
please kindly read aloud that document you have in your possession.
Dear comrades, take positions at the airport and land borders. None of those who have raped our nation's resources should be allowed to skip town. Those who have stolen the public purse must, in capital letters, be made to account for every peswa. Operation Recover All Loot, in bracket, oral, must swing into full action for our children, for our nation. Let's go. And it has the lion emoji and the Ghana flag and the fire emoji.
Can you share with us those looters, the names of those looters you were referring to, who you were calling on comrades to protect our borders so that they don't escape? Can you share with us those you had in mind at the time you made this post?
All of that information, Mr. Chairman, has been shared with the oral team that was headed by my comrade Okujeto Ablakwa, Member of Parliament for North Tongue. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, this is a public hearing. You have made this post, and I'm relying on it to ask you the question. I'm asking you, these individuals that you say they have looted the nation, they have raped us of whatever, can you share with us those individuals? Give us their names.
Honourable Member, with all due respect, we spoke yesterday about the Whistleblowers Act, and there are remedies available for such a thing under a Whistleblowers Act. So in a full public view, asking that the names of those people be disclosed, there are dire consequences for it. I will therefore humbly overrule the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Constitution. That was the basis for that call.
The preamble
in the name of the Almighty God, we, the people
of this responsibility